is so important to me as the Cabinet Secretary that we have that discussions directly with frontline teachers and with party members. So it's been absolutely fantastic to be able to have that opportunity, and I'm sure many of the rest of you will be taking that chance up today if you're not back teaching, considering we're back on a Monday. But we have a lot to be proud of in education, and you might not really see that, funnily enough, when you listen to our political opponents or when you read a lot of the media. But I think it is very, very important that we remind ourselves that we do have a world-class education system here in Scotland. You look at what is told to us by the OECD, by the International Council of Education Advisors. They recognise the good work that happens day in, day out in Scottish education. The fact that we've got the highest proportion of adults in tertiary education anywhere in the EU, that we're actually scored 4th highest in the world by PISA on global competence, the 4th highest in the world. Now, you're not going to read that many times in our papers and hear that much in debate, but it's important we recognise that.
The 4th highest in the world for global competence. PISA. That's the OECD, where they have a finger inside pie, which kind of calls into question the previous statement there about the OECD giving them praise to some degree. I've had a wee opportunity to talk about this for a while. I've just never really had an opportunity to talk about it. What is global competence? Bear in mind, Scottish schools or Scottish academia, Scotland in general, is allegedly the 4th highest. Wow. PISA Global Competence Assessment. OECD. Better policies for better lives. Okay. Defining global competence in PISA. Let's just have a wee look through this. Examine local, global and intercultural issues. We've got understand and appreciate the perspectives of and worldviews of others. We've got engage in open and appropriate and effective interactions across cultures. And this PowerPoint's a bit daft because it has 2 of the same instead of highlighting the purple one here. But this says, take action for collective well-being and... Let me zoom in. Ever so slightly, shall I? I know it might be difficult to see given the colour's not there. Sustainable development. Yes. So, I wouldn't be bragging too much about that, Shirley Anne Somerville, really. I suppose it's a matter of opinion if you think that that's the sort of shit that should be prioritised. But of course you do, as does your thin-lipped tyrannical leader. So, let me see. We've got... PISA's definition of global competence is obviously... it builds on specific cognitive and socio-economic skills, including reasoning with information, communication in intercultural context, perspective taking, conflict resolution, adaptability. And there's it again there in beautiful purple behind it. Sustainable development, you know. But of course, we've got intercultural issues, etc. So, if we come down a bit further, their definition of global competence, an openness towards people's from other backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, respect for cultural differences, and global mindedness. Emphasis on global. The PISA instruments. There's a cognitive test that children undertake in schools. A test of global understanding, background knowledge, and cognitive skills necessary to successfully navigate global and intercultural issues. There'll be a questionnaire as well. Students' self-reported data on the other components of global competence, e.g. openness and adaptability. Principals and teachers self-report data and activities related to global and intercultural education. An example of a scenario in the cognitive test. Last weekend your team lost because the foreign-born player decided to walk off the pitch, leaving his team to play 10 against 11 after receiving racial insults. As you talk with a friend about this episode, you realise that both you and your friend have always referred to the foreign-born player by his nickname, the Animal. The captain of your team is nicknamed the Brain. Okay, well what are the nicknames of all the other members of the team? And why is this the sort of thing that kids are being spoken to about in classrooms instead of learning about their mathematics and and their English, etc.? Because what Shirley Anne Somerville will not say is all the plummeting rankings, of course. Yeah. Fourth best at sustainable development education. Fourth best at developing a fake sense of empathy and always feeling sorry for BAMEs. There always has to be a reason, you know. I'm not disputing whether or not that is a problem. Of course, that's not exactly a particularly nice thing, but what's that got to fucking do with a nickname? Is that what they were shouting at him? Well, if that's the case, how's that a racial insult? That's his nickname. Anyway, we move on, because I don't want this video to be too long. This is what I'm talking about, though. This is the sort of thing here. This is how schools are ranked, or countries are ranked on their global competence. So they'll be asked things such as this. I want to learn how people live in different countries. Very much like me, mostly like me, somewhat like me, not much like me, not at all like me, right? I want to learn more about the religions of the world. I'm interested in how people from various cultures see the world. I'm interested in finding out about the traditions of other cultures. Right? Do you have contact with people from other cultures, or countries, sorry? Please select one response in each role. In your family, at school, in your neighbourhood, in your circle of friends. So bear in mind, they get 2 points, or 1 point, etc. All this shit is ranked, right? And it all gets tallied up. Respect for people from other different cultural backgrounds. I respect people from other cultures as equal human beings. I treat all people with respect regardless of their cultural background. I give space to people from other cultures to express themselves. I respect the values of people from different cultures. I value the opinions from different cultures. Attitudes towards immigrants. Immigrant children should have the same opportunities for education that other children in the country have. Immigrants who live in the country for several years should have the opportunity to vote in elections. See what I'm saying? This is the sort of shit that they are teaching kids. You know? Their education shapes their views. And from that, they are ranked, thus giving Scotland the 4th highest. Immigrants should have the opportunity to continue their own customs and lifestyle. Immigrants should have all the same rights that everyone else in the country has. They already do, so apart from, I would say they couldn't vote. They can now, can't they? So, intercultural learning at school. I learn how to solve conflicts with other people in our classrooms. I learn about different cultures. I participate in events celebrating cultural diversity. I participate in classroom discussions about world events as part of the regular instruction. I analyse global issues together with my classmates. I learn that how people from different cultures can have different perspectives on the same issue. I learn to communicate with people from different backgrounds. All this is still being ranked. You know? Students' perceptions of teachers' attitudes. They have misconceptions about the history of some cultural groups. Because you'd know, wouldn't you, as a child. They say negative things about people of some cultural groups. They blame people of some cultural groups for problems faced by country of test, or from whatever country in question. They have lowered academic expectations for students. Fucking wow. Self-efficacy in multicultural environments. I can cope with the challenges of a multicultural classroom. I can adapt my teaching to the cultural diversity of students. I take care that students with and without migrant background work well together. I can raise awareness for cultural differences amongst the students. I can contribute to reducing ethnic stereotypes between students. You see, this is it's just. Were any of the topics listed below included in your classroom or your teacher education or training program or other professional qualification in your professional development activities? Teaching in a multicultural or multilingual setting, teaching cross-curricular skills, communicating with people from different countries or cultures, teaching about equity and diversity,